few months ago, my colleague asked ChatGPT, what is the latest iPhone that has been released and should I really upgrade? The response, the latest model is the iPhone 14, which is released in 2022. He stared at it and said, isn't the iPhone 16 already out? Most people do not know whether these GPTs are updated or not. Most people don't know how to use the GPTs in the right way. And most people to this day, they still see GPT as like a Google search engine. But now everything is changed. GPTs are connected to the live internet. They can browse, they can quote sources, they can even provide you the real-time information. And that begs a big question to all of us. Do we still need Google, or is Google already being replaced by GPTs slowly without us noticing? Let's understand how Google and GPTs could coexist, and let's understand what is the future of Google. Will Google really be replaced by these GPTs? Let's dive in. Let's rewind to 2023. Back then, GPTs like ChatGPT were powerful, but definitely outdated. They had no real-time information access to whatsoever on the internet that's been available. They were trained on millions and billions of data sets that is available on the internet, but only up to a certain point of time. Probably say around 2022. They were basically treated as a memory palace and not a search engine. So for an instance, if you had asked to ChatGPT, what's happening in Gaza right now? In all probability, you would get an answer from 2021. Or if you had asked, what are the best restaurants in Munich today? It might list something that might have been closed a few months ago. We've all experienced this, right? That's why people used both GPT and Google. Google for fresh facts and links that is updated in real time. GPTs for summarizing the information and understanding them. It was a pretty clean separation in terms of usage. Then something shifted. In late 2023 and 2024, GPTs began getting internet access. ChatGPT got browsing, plugins, and live web capabilities. Now, if you ask ChatGPT, what is the best restaurant in Munich today? It could pull live TripAdvisor's data, Yelp scores, or Google reviews, or anything at all for that matter, which is updated in real time, and summarize it as a whole in one single response. And with this upgradation of GPTs and the capabilities around internet, the line started to blur. Let's hit the big question. Are GPTs really replacing Google? The answer is no, not exactly. But they are replacing the way we use Google. Here's an analogy. Imagine you walk into a restaurant where they serve buffet. You walk from one aisle to another aisle, checking for the food that you want, and you pick and choose what you want, starting from salad, bread, rice, meat, everything, right? So that's exactly what Google does. When you ask a question or when you raise a prompt, Google lists the total amount of information that it has in the form of links, and you get to navigate from one point to another point, and you pick and choose what information do you really want to have it based on the information that you are seeking for. GPT is like having a waiter who does all of this for you, where the restaurant waiter would say, stay seated, I'll go find exactly what you need based on the orders that you give. I'll also summarize it and bring it as a whole to your table so that you can enjoy your meal. That's exactly what ChatGPT does when you raise a prompt. It searches for the relevant information in its database or in the internet, and it gathers the information and summarizes it, and it brings you as a single response where you do not really have to hop from one link to another link. So what's actually happening in this? GPTs are becoming the interface, Google becomes the backend. In fact, GPTs often search for the data from Google, Bing search, etc. and they summarizes it, clean it up, and then offer it to the users and deliver conversationally. So no, Google is not dying. It's just moving one layer deeper into the ground. Let's pause here and explain clearly. GPT now has two modes. Offline mode, just using training data. Online mode, connected to live web. So while GPTs are being used in offline, the speed is really fast, but the knowledge is available, or knowledge is based on only the training data up to a certain point, probably 2022 or 2023. The main use cases in offline mode is explaining, summarizing, or creating. Whereas in GPT, while using online, the speed is a bit slower because it fetches live data. It also has access to the real-time information based on the accuracy subjected to the information that you're looking for. And the main use cases would be searching, verifying, or quoting. Offline GPT is more like a smart historian. Online GPT is more like a real-time journalist. He is knowing which mode you are in and adjusting your prompts or questions accordingly. Even with internet, can we all use ChatGPT like Google? The answer is no, big no. Even with browsing capability, ChatGPT is not a Google search engine and it cannot replace Google search engine at all. There are a huge differences the way ChatGPT functions and Google search engine functions, and let's understand that as well in this section. Here's exactly why. Google is a search engine. Google's strength is in finding and indexing the web pages. In this case, you are the driver and Google is just the map. Whereas in the GPT's case, it's a large language model which is connected to internet or which has the browsing capability on internet. When GPT is connected to the internet, you are not the driver, GPT is the driver and you are in the passenger seat. Let's understand the main key differences between ChatGPT and Google. So when it comes to Google, when you raise a prompt, it shows multiple resources and always gives you the response by showcasing the source links, and the freshness is always in real time, and because it keeps updating, it is directly connected to the internet, and it also gives you the links or the data for your response based on many different ranking authorities such as PageRank, SEO, backlinks, etc. etc. The speed is really fast as you are using the internet directly from search engine, and also it is less likely to show any sort of errors or goes into the hallucination because there is a human in the loop in this particular case. When it comes to ChatGPT with the browsing capability, it doesn't show multiple resources. It probably summarizes from 1 or 3 links, and the freshness is not always guaranteed. If you want to have the real-time data, you need to enable this particular capability in the ChatGPT. The information is not given by ranking authority or anything. It's just a random or first found or based on the context in the prompt, and it is a bit slower compared to Google. Why? Because we have browsing steps in between, and it is more likely to throw some errors or hallucinated information because chances of LLM misinterpreting is quite high. So if you want to skim through 5 sources by yourself, Google is better. If you want a clear summary and briefly explained information, then it's ChatGPT. What happens to Google now? Google is still the fastest way to discover new links and the information that you're looking for. It's still your go-to place for maps, shopping, real-time flight prices, news, local business reviews, niche blogs or YouTube content, etc. But here's what's changing. Due to the less attention span that people have, they don't really have patience and they don't really want to have 10 links that has been listed from Google. They always want to have a summarized and a quick and a short information. They want one good answer which is simply clearly explained and they could consume it easily. So GPT is eating Google's value layer, not by replacing its data, but by replacing the user experience once Google used to provide to the users. That's why Google is heavily investing in Gemini, AI snippets, and search generative experience, which is based on LLM. Here's how smart users are adapting. Use Google if you want to scan multiple sources yourself, you're searching for something which is sensitive or nuanced, you care about verifiable credibility. Use ChatGPT if you want a digestible answer quickly, you're trying to learn, write, or brainstorm, you don't want to open 10 tabs and compare opinions from each one of them. So the best strategy is to combine them. Use GPT to draft or brainstorm, Google to fact check or verify the credibility, then GPT again to refine or reframe. Here's the truth no one tells you. GPTs and Google are both tools. The person who knows how to ask good questions wins. The skill is not in knowing facts, but instead it's in knowing how to ask, when to ask, and as well as which tool to ask. GPT doesn't kill Google, but it does force us to become better writers, thinkers, and seekers. So do we still need Google? Yes, but you also need ChatGPT. The future is not Google or GPT. It is Google through GPT or GPT on top of Google. If you learned something today, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more such content. And share this content with somebody who is confused about GPT and Google and how to use it better. And also do comment in the comment section whether you are a Google person or a GPT person, or whether you would like to use Google more in the future or GPT in the future. Let's keep learning how to think better and not just search better. Thank you all. See you all soon in another video.